Hello everyone, how are you? Fine, thank you. Today, I'm going to be testing some rare retro gaming slop that I got from the dump yesterday.
Rum dropping! Slob alert!
Slob alert!
Slob alert! Slob alert! Slob alert!
On the left, we have a Dell Dimension L866r from 2001. According to the stickers here, it's got a Pentium 3 and is designed for a Windows 2000 NT4 and 98. But if we take a look at the side, the OS it's shipped with is anything but those.
Windows Millennium? Oh no! Get it away! Eek!
Oh well, okay, it's more like 93rd edition. It's Windows Me. Of course, that's what it's shipped with. And funny enough, that this has a sticker that's black for the information here. I guess they were starting to do that by 2001. And we've got just a plain old CD-ROM drive that does CD audio. Got a nice dial. Got this 3.5-inch bay that's not yellowed unlike the rest of the case, which is mildly yellowed. Got a floppy drive, don't know if that works, we'll have to test that. Power button, no reset button, since Dell was starting to phase that out around this time. Here's the serial number that you can no longer enter into Dell's website. Got our PS2 ports for keyboard and mouse, dual USB 1.1, VGA, serial, parallel, nothing else on the I/O here. Also, is the I/O shield part of the board? I mean, theoretically, you could put in a standard micro ATX motherboard, but this case is really cramped and probably has some proprietary guff going on, so I wouldn't. And there's no graphics card installed. You rely on the integrated video. We have PCI audio and PCI PCI Ethernet. I believe that's 10100. This is from 2001. It can't be base 10 by that point. And we've got a power supply. Okay, at least it's on 115 volts. Or selected to 115 volts like it should be in this region. Let's open the side panel. Okay, it flips outwards like this. It's a pretty compact case in here. To remove the power supply, we just... Or not remove, but to move the power supply out of the way. You might not want to be doing this with one hand like I am, but that works. You just push this down and lift that outwards, preferably with two hands. We've got a pretty small heatsink and fan here, because this is a socket 370. It didn't need a lot of cooling. Got two RAM sticks. I don't know how much it has at the moment. I'm not about to pull it out and check. I can see that we have one of the audios here going up to the audio drive, or the CD drive. And we got a Seagate hard drive here. I checked this yesterday, but I didn't check the capacity. It is a U series of some kind. 0140 date code. 144, that would be the 4th of April 2001. ST32413A. Okay, that's 20 gigabytes. So, not very large, but decent for a low-end computer at the time, or about what you'd expect. Also, whenever I see low-end computers that have just PCI audio, I kind of start worrying, because like I had an Optiplex GX110 back in 2018, and I couldn't get PCI audio working at all, and go figure that was the one board that didn't have onboard audio. I think it was just a bad riser card, but riser cards for those Optiplexes are expensive, so yeah, wasn't worth it. And you can also see, you're probably cringing at this right now, but there is no AGP slot to be found, and that's because this has Intel i752 integrated graphics on the 810E chipset. So, to get better video, you have to rely on a PCI card, which thankfully I do have one. It's a Radeon 9250 that I pulled out of a PowerMac G4 MDD. We could also remove the front panel by using this lever. Kind of works similarly to the Optiplex GX1 and Precision 410, although it's designed a bit differently. Okay, I removed the front panel and it's kind of dirty back here, so I'm going to have to clean that up. Just going to do the basic disinfecting wipe method. As I was wiping this down, I just noticed something about the Seagate hard drive. It's one of those that has like a rubber case or whatever on it. I think it's for like shock protection, but yeah, I had heard about these rubbers like disintegrating on these Seagate hard drives from the time. Thankfully, this one isn't disintegrating, and it's not as dirty as this HP over here, but I'm still in the process of wiping it down. Also, you want to see something cool with this L866r? It's got a manufacture date of the 28th of April 2001, but that's not the cool thing. Refurbished. This product may contain new, refurbished, repaired, or previously used assemblies. Dell factory-trained technicians have tested the product. So this computer was refurbished at some point. I mean, it's possible that this was like a new computer at one point and then returned, and then someone like bought it again through like the Dell outlet or got it refurbished while it was under warranty. I don't know where exactly like the sticker would have applied, but it's pretty cool to see one of those stickers actually. Pulling out the RAM sticks while I'm in the process of cleaning, and this has Dell memory, so I think this was actually upgraded at some point. 256 megabytes? 256 megabytes. This has 512 megabytes of RAM in it. I think that's maxed out for the 815E chipset. Or not 815E, but 810E. Both of them have the same 512 meg limit. Synchronized 100 megahertz CL2. 2004-04, so that's either April of 2004 or the 4th week of 2004. I think Micron's old date codes were year than month. But yeah, in that case, someone really took decent care of this system. And it looks like that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 16 chips on each stick, so I think this should work in my Dell Precision 410. Well, theoretically. It's 440BX, so this probably isn't ECC RAM, and I hear that you need ECC low density, like, registered DIMMs in order to, like, get 256 megabyte sticks to work, or at least to get a gig. Oh, and here's another thing I noticed, that if we look at the I/O shield area, you can see where a game port and onboard audio would have gone. I have no idea why that's not filled out. I guess that this was a generic layout, and Dell just didn't fill out the game port and onboard audio. Or I guess these Dell Dimension LR motherboards, or L-series motherboards, because they also could have been like LCs, the C meaning Celeron and R meaning Pentium 3. These motherboards may have just never had like onboard audio and game port populated to begin with. So that's why these cards are here. Also, I noticed that the Ethernet card isn't screwed in, so oops, trademark. Okay, our next exhibit is this HP Compaq desktop from the early 2000s, well, early to mid 2000s. Depends what you consider 2004 as, but I think the hardware released in 03. It's just about as undesirable slop as it gets.
Slob City!
Pentium 4, but that means rare retro gaming these days, so actually that's not a bad thing unlike 10 to 15 years ago where you couldn't even give away Pentium 4s. It is an HP Compaq D220 mini tower, and the specs are right there. Pentium 4, 2.8 gigahertz, 40 gigabyte hard drive is what this would have come with, 256 megabytes of RAM, and 4U, I don't know what that means. 429 there means 29th week of 2004, so it would be just about 22 years old now, and there's the Windows XP COA. I'm pretty sure you can't even do anything with that anymore. And it's only got a CD-ROM drive, not even one that does CD audio, so this is about as sloppy as it gets, but as long as it works, an IDE disk drive is an IDE disk drive these days. You gotta take what you can get. And it's also got a floppy drive. My cousin's gonna be happy to see that, because he has a thing for old magnetic media for some reason. And yeah, this one is even more dirty, at least if the outside is anything to say. So I'm gonna have to wipe this down even more aggressively. And for rear I/O, we have PS2 keyboard and mouse. We have two USB 2.0 ports here. I'm pretty sure these are 2.0 by 04 or 03. We have serial port, parallel, VGA. We got the perfect legacy roundup here, including split PS2. Another two USB 2.0 ports, I want to say. You have Ethernet here. I'm pretty sure this is also 10100. Gigabit was starting to become a thing. Gigabit was starting to become a thing around this time in business desktops, but given that this is a low-end one, I'm 99% sure it is 10100. And we have line out, line in microphone jacks in a pretty unconventional order. Usually line out would be in the middle. And none of the PCI slots are being used up. Well, expansion slots. And you'll see why I say that when I open this up. Okay, so just like my cousin's A712N, this also has a light-on power supply. I can't see the wattage capacity, but it's probably about 250 watts as well. I don't see any blown capacitors on this motherboard, which is good, especially because this is a Pentium 4, which was infamous for capacitor plague. Well, electronics from the 2000s in general. And also I see that this has a built-in PC speaker, which is very nice. And a real one at that, because it's a big one. And I say expansion slots and not PCI slots because, well, we do have 3 PCI slots here. You're probably cringing even harder at this than you are at the L866r.
This is unacceptable!
That's where an AGP slot would go, but this probably has an Intel 845GV chipset, I want to say, and that notoriously did not allow for AGP expansion, as the onboard AGP is being wired up to the Intel Extreme Graphics, or whatever they called it for the 845 series. This was when Intel graphics were pretty much bottom of the barrel bad. Like, you could probably make an argument for SIS graphics being better, and you have to be a special kind of bet for that to be considered. Although, a counterpoint is that if you were to run Linux on one of these, not like I know why you do that in this day and age anyway, given how modern Linux won't run on these computers. But let's say theoretically, if you were to run Linux on these, the Intel chipset and Intel graphics would be your best bet compared to SIS VIA or, God forbid, Enforce on the AMD side, because NVIDIA wasn't making chipsets for Intel until 05, and I think that was on the high end. Oh, someone upgraded this one as well. That is a 266 megatransfers per second module, 1 gigabyte. That's way better than the 256 that this would have shipped with from the factory. And also, yeah, the Dell Dimension 2400s, which have basically identical hardware to this, those got a bad rep for pretty obvious reasons. Yeah, they are pretty mediocre computers overall, but I think what really cemented their bad reputation was the fact that you could get them with only 128 megabytes of RAM. In fact, that's exactly what my dad did for my uncles back in 04. On the 1st of April at that, almost like he ordered it as an April Fool's joke. He got them a Dell Dimension 2400 with a 2.66 gigahertz Pentium 4, slightly lower than this, but respectable CPU for the computer. 40 gig hard drive, okay, average, but only 128 megabytes of RAM. Yikes. And I'm pretty sure this was still during the early 2000s RAM crisis, because there was a time when DRAM manufacturers were making DRAM modules real expensive for no reason. Just notice that this has a clear CMOS button right here in the shape of a CR2032. Also, the floppy drive isn't plugged in for some reason. And the cable here, and connector for that matter, is crooked. I mean, at least a floppy cable still exists here, so like I could just plug it back in. And also there's no hard drive, but I have the perfect hard drive for this sitting around. This 40GB Western Digital from the 11th of April 2004. You could convince me that this is the original hard drive to this computer and I would believe you, except no, because this has a Dell code on it, 44B, which translates to the 11th of April 2004. But yeah, that'll go right in here. I'm gonna have to find some screws for this, but yeah. Also, yeah, this is one of the hard drives that I got off of Buddy, like, a couple months ago. I got some worthless low-capacity IDE hard drive so I could pawn off my Optiplex GX1s, and this was thrown in as well, just in case I'd need it for an IDE-only computer. And yeah, this is one of them. Also, I did test this drive, and it works. But yeah, I'm gonna put this in and fire these two up. I've been recording this single clip for like 17 minutes now. I know, I've been rambling, but you're here to watch Azu Sapphire videos, not good videos, right? I had to remove the hard drive cage just to be able to install the hard drive, because the CPU cooler is in the way, so, yeah. Also, I just noticed that someone stole the IDE cable going to the optical drive, but yet they didn't steal the one going to the hard drive, so guess I'm gonna have to go fish out my own IDE cable, preferably a crappy 40 wire, not an 80 wire, because it's just going to be powering a CD-ROM drive. Alright, move over, hastily thrown together test bench, because we gotta test some old rare retro gaming slop. This is just an i7-3770S, currently testing this X1950 XTS Crossfire edition. It's a pretty rare card, but I'm seeming to have some VRAM artifacting and polygon issues, so... But yeah, this is currently being diagnosed, but I'm going to test some rare retro gaming slop in the meantime. I'm impatient and can't find my PS2 mouse, so I'm just gonna use my wireless USB mouse. Okay, good. No magic smoke. using the KB8923 for testing. For the Z68 board here, I had a Velocifier TKL02 plugged in. Huh. Maybe that cable wasn't plugged in. As a matter of fact, the other side was not plugged in, so take two. Okay, got a light. We got some old classic hard drive sounds and the old Dell Earth logo. Now that's a vibe. I should wipe my camera lens. There's some lens flare. Left 2 changes to another screen, like the post messages. Seemingly not. Oh man, I'm already sweaty. It's pretty nice out, but like, yeah, when I've been moving around a lot in the kitchen and don't have like the fan running, then yeah, naturally I'm bound to get sweaty from that. CMOS battery low, yeah, just as I expected. Keyboard detected, USB legacy enabled because I have a USB mouse plugged in, just this Razer Orochi V2. BIOS version A11, so I think we might be on the latest. And we have 512 megabytes system RAM, just what I like to see. Loading setup, never seen that on a Dell computer before. Dell Dimension L866r setup. System date is January 1st, 1990, which is not even close to correct. Huh. Apparently the CD drive is not installed. Well, it's not even plugged in. Oh, right. The power cord goes through the side panel. So you gotta remove that every time, or just don't install the side panel when testing. It's very much plugged in. It's probably just not functional, unless it's not plugged into the other side of the board, but I'm pretty sure it's plugged in. Okay, there's no initialization light, so I guess this CD-ROM drive is just not working. I'll have to probably get like a SATA to IDE bridge so I could get a working optical drive without taking the gamble on IDE optical drives. Or maybe I'll see if my buddy has any, and I'll just pay him for that and get a profit in selling over retro gaming. Oh, really? Why'd you put a BIOS password on this? Invalid password, system halted. But the CMOS battery is literally dead, so like, what gives? I mean, there's probably a way to clear it on these systems. Okay, it might be this jumper here. This one's BIOS config. We just switch it over a notch. That is if I got it correctly. Also, I took out the clock battery because I'm about to install a new one anyway. Yeah, the original is a Maxell. This is the new one. Okay, that's installed now. I could probably switch this back now. Oh, that came up relatively quickly. Unless me pressing delete brought up the post messages. What do you mean, current password? Okay, unplug the machine, remove the jumper, plug it back in, and then let's see if we can get anywhere. Oh, I hear the floppy drive going. I didn't hear that before. Okay, I reinstalled the jumper. Will it at least let me get into the setup or boot the computer? Just anything like that, really. I don't hear the floppy drive going on anymore, and no, it's not letting me go anywhere. Okay, I found out what you have to do. So this jumper over here, which is for the BIOS configuration, you have to jump that over to the left 2 pins. It's normally on the right 2. And what that does is that it brings you to this screen on the BIOS, which allows you to clear all passwords. Yes, clear all the passwords. CPU stepping signature 686. That is irrelevant. Turn off power and reinstall the jumper in normal mode position. Oh, 10307 in that string right there. Oh, you probably missed it while I was zooming in, but that probably means that this is an Intel desktop board at heart. System time, it is 10:51 a.m. and it is the 23rd of July. Well, not the 22nd, but the 23rd of 2026. I don't care about the exact second right now. Okay, yeah, I guess the optical drive in this just doesn't work. Primary video adapter, onboard, or PCI. We want to make that PCI, because I'm probably going to install a PCI card in this one. Floppy, FTD. I want to make it CD-ROM and then hard drive. And I guess the UNDI is for... No, that's probably for the Ethernet card. Exit saving changes. Let's see what operating system is still on here, if whoever dumped this didn't delete their data. Okay, just heard the floppy drive go off. So there's a chance that that works at least, unlike the CD-ROM. Oh gee, Rick, this sure has taken a while. And just how long am I going to be staring at this screen for? Oh, that took a while. Well, as expected, someone upgraded it to Windows XP. The great OS ever. And it's at least Service Pack 2, so it's probably going to be on the slower side, but it's got 512 megabytes of RAM, so it's not going to be the worst ever. This blue background is telling me someone used the classic login environment. Yeah, this must have been used in a small business then, because I'm pretty sure, like, no home users except for, like, the giga nerds and the autistics like me would do something like this. Press Control-Delete to begin. Yeah, this was definitely used in a small business. Yeah, this was absolutely used in a small business. Needless to say, I'm gonna have to delete the data off this hard drive, and I'm gonna have to plug in another CD-ROM drive so I can get Windows 98 installed. Or I could do 2000, but 98 has a better chance of rare retro gaming cells. Well, testing the Dell Dimension was a little bit of a cluster truck, so now let's hope that the HP D220 goes a bit smoother. I didn't bother fetching a cable for the optical drive, I'm impatient. Really, I'm just going to test and see if it even powers up. Okay, no magic smoke. It's auto-powering up. Oh, there's the HP logo. American Megatrends BIOS. CMOS settings wrong. Yeah, because this needs a new CMOS battery, which I have several over here. Press F1 to run setup. BIOS from the 15th of January 2004, Mio Akiyama's 12th birthday. And, this is the setup that this BIOS uses. Not very familiar with this one, but I've seen it around before. System information, HP D220 Mini Tower. This does not use the same board as the HP Pavilion A712N, which also uses the same junky board as a Compaq Presario SR1020NX and HP Pavilion A210N. System chipset type is NR138GV, so this is 845GV. CPU ID is 0F29. It's not telling me the front-side bus speed of the CPU, though. I know that the A712N is really junky, and for some reason it uses a 400 megatransfers per second front-side bus Pentium 4 instead of a 533, when it's possible that that board already has, like, a 533 megatransfers per second CPU support. And it thinks it's the 1st of March 99. Add-on ROM display mode, Force BIOS. So, let's say if you had a PNY GeForce installed, then the screen saying PNY FX5200 will show up. Okay, there's no password on here at least. But yeah, it looks like this works, so I'm just gonna plop in the new CMOS battery and get to configuring the BIOS. HP, or whoever built this, did you perhaps forget to remove any overclocking settings? Though then again, the CPU multiplier ratio is for unlocked Pentium 4 and Celeron processors, but this is just a standard 2.8. No unlocked multipliers to be seen here. And I'm not aware of any Pentium 4s that aren't the Extreme Edition that have an unlocked multiplier. And even then, it's not like you could really run an Extreme Edition in this board anyway, due to VRMs that probably aren't going to cut it for one. But also, this is 845GV. An Extreme Edition would be a waste in something like this. Also, the drive's only being picked up as 14 gigs for some reason. It's probably jumpered incorrectly. And I'm going to install temporary OS on this drive, since I wiped it before. Windows 2000 with Service Pack 4. Conveniently, the product key is written right there. Windows 2000 doesn't have product activation, so you could just use that key. I don't really care. Well, that is if this drive will even open. I'm going to push the eject button now. And of course, this absolute Looney Tune left a disk in here. Genlink, something or another. print is so low quality I can't even read what it says. Something software, generic engineering software or something like that. I don't know, but hopefully this Windows 2000 disk will be picked up. Okay, it's trying. This software is licensed for use on Dell computer systems only? What do you mean? I've never seen that error before. I'm pretty sure this even worked in Virtual PC. But, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to pull out a generic Windows 2000 ISO or something like that, or XP or whatever. I just grabbed the quickest 2000 disk that I could find at the moment. Okay, I put a Dell XP Service Pack 2 Professional disk in here, and that works just fine, so I guess the licensing was removed after Windows 2000. Then again, I do also have two of these disks here. XP Professional Service Pack 1A, also for Dell computers. And there's the product key, again, take it for all I care. But yeah, this is going to take quite a while, although not as long as Windows 2000 because XP at least supports quick formatting and TFS drives. Okay, yeah, it looks like that I formatted this drive before. And it's appearing as the full roughly 40 gigabytes. The BIOS was only detecting 14 gigabytes for some reason, which is weird, especially when this shipped with a 40 gig drive from the factory, but okay, as long as the full 40 gigs works. Okay, I now have XP installed on the D220 here. And let me find CPU Z. There we go. I'm also going to open up Crystal Disk Info so we can check the health of this hard drive. I know it's good, I just want to check the health again. Okay, 2410 power on count and 38k hours. That's definitely worn at this point, but it still works. And this is a 2.8 GHz Pentium 4 with a 533 megatransfers per second frontside bus. So this is about as common as it gets. And ironically, it's worth even less than the 400 megatransfers per second bus 2.8 in the A712N. Main board is i845G according to CPU-Z here, and apparently Lite-On manufactured the motherboard. Kind of a strange ODM, but okay. Week 44 of 2001? Is that seriously manufactured in 2001? Also, I'm pretty sure this board has 2 slots. If so, then that's a really early DDR1 stick. And I'm going to bench the CPU just because I can. Wow, a whole 1.4 in multi-thread. No, it only got 0.8 in multi-thread. It got 1.6 in single-thread. It got into, like, I want to say the 10s, maybe the 40s, 50s, when it was running the single-thread benchmark, but no, this was all it gets. Can't say I'm surprised, though. And also, this is version 2.15, which I think is one of the last that works on XP and NT5 for that matter. But yeah, I'm going to shut this off now and go back to running my test bench over here and diagnosing this XTX. That'll be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you want to come talk to me and lighten up the Discord server, the link will be in the description below. If you want to support me and help me fund a optical drive for the Dell Dimension L866r and another IDE cable, because I'm too lazy to find one, my Ko-fi will be in the description as well. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out.